Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for the last day of the 12 Days of Christmas mini-series. Today I've got another quick one for you. What I'm setting up is a last minute Xmas preparation list. Although I could list all of these things in my regular to-do lists, I find that having all the tasks for one what you could call project in one space to be really helpful. Often if to-dos like this are mixed in with all of my other tasks, I have a tendency to overlook some of them, which isn't really ideal when you want to get all of these things done. The layout of this page is a little different to the other ones I've had, a bit more simple but just with a decorative border. Now I know that this video isn't one of my Thursday videos, technically the posting date for this is Friday for me, so Merry Christmas. But typically what I like to do in my Thursday videos is answer questions that were left on last week's video. But you may have noticed they were absent from my monthly reset checklist video, which did go up on Thursday. That's because I've decided I'm going to handle questions differently on my channel come next year. There were a couple of reasons for this. One, I want you guys to get more timely answers. What I'd normally do would be to not respond to the question comment until after I'd filmed the video where I answer the question. And then if I remembered, I'd go back to the question comment and comment on it. But that means people are left without an answer from me for a week or sometimes more. And my second reason for changing my system is that I want to try and get a lot of my content scheduled in advance. This is actually my main goal for the first quarter of 2021, so trying to batch my content making tasks so that videos go up on time and in a much more organized fashion. So that really begs the question, how am I going to be handling questions? What I'm going to try and do is answer questions in the comments in a much more timely fashion, and any questions in particular that seem to have a lot of interest from the community, I'm going to combine into a monthly Q&A video. So if you see a question on any of my posts that you think, oh yeah, I really want to know the answer to that too, make sure that you comment on it or give it a thumbs up so that I know what you guys are interested in. In terms of the questions that were left on last week's video though, our first one came from Amy, who asked, how far in advance do you plan your lessons for school? Now this one really depends, because if I know a topic well, I know how much time each of my lessons take, so I can usually schedule those ones quite far in advance, upwards of maybe even 5 weeks or more. If I'm new to a topic though, what I'll tend to do is try and schedule no more than 2 weeks in advance. And I should mention that with all of this scheduling, pretty much all of it is done in pencil until the week before because things have a tendency to change at my school, similar to a lot of schools I assume. Typically I confirm my weekly class schedule a week in advance on a Wednesday, just because as a science teacher, I need to make sure that I have all my lab equipment booked. Our next question came from Shania, who asked, I was wondering if Vogel has a bujo. If so, is it as aesthetic as yours or more basic? If not, what is his preferred method of planning and organizing? So Vogel does have a bullet journal. His bullet journal is mainly for long-term collections. So movies he wants to watch, things he wants to do on the house, that kind of stuff. We did do a little flip through of his journal at some point, and there's a link to that video in the cards above and in the description box as well. In terms of his everyday planning though, he just has a regular pre-printed diary from Whitcoulls. So it's a week per page, lined paper, nothing too fancy. Pretty Peach asked, I wanted to put the brain dump section in my journal, but I didn't want to use it for what it was originally planned for. I wanted to use it for basically dumping all my thoughts on the page. Also, do you have any spreads that you love and need to have? Or any spreads that you recommend beginner bullet journalers to use in their first journal? So the way I see a brain dump page is really that it's a space for your brain to do what it needs to do. So if your brain needs it so that you can write down a to-do list of all the things that are in your mind at one point in time, yeah, use it for that. Or if your brain has a lot of thoughts and feelings that it needs to process, your brain dump can be used to write those things down. I'm a big believer in this is your journal and you need to use it in ways that work for you. In terms of spreads that I love and need to have, I personally love my habit trackers. I also really love mood trackers, even if I don't really use the information I put on them. That's really just a space for me to be a little bit more creative. Spreads that I'd recommend for beginner bullet journalers though would essentially be try out anything that you want to. Giving things a try is the only way we find out what does and doesn't work for us. So in trying all the things, please do make sure you do it with a lens of self-compassion. There's a high likelihood that some of the pages we try aren't really going to work out, they might not get filled in, we might not like them, but at least it's a learning opportunity. You get to figure out what does work for you, what elements of spreads you did enjoy. But you only get to find that out if you give it a go. Of course, if you already know that having unfinished spreads is going to be something that you can't deal with, then it's possibly better to be a little bit more selective in your trying, and only try 1 or 2 new things at once. We don't want our new bullet journalists to get overwhelmed, we want them to stick with this, and we want them to find it enjoyable. But in general, if a spread sparks your interest, give it a go. As always, thank you to all our inquirers from last week, and I'm looking forward to doing our new style Q&A video in January. Alrighty team, so here you can see my list of things that I have to do in preparation for tomorrow. At the time I'm filming this, it is the 24th of December at about 11:30 AM. So I've still got a little bit of time to finish this off, but it's starting to feel a little tight. Hopefully you've enjoyed the 12 Days of Christmas series. It's been really fun thinking of these ideas and getting to share them with all of you. I'd be curious to know though, out of the 12 Days of Christmas layouts, which one was your favourite? I hope you all have a very happy and safe holiday period, whether you're able to spend it in the physical presence of your loved ones or not. 2020 is almost over, team, and I know there's nothing particularly magical about the first day of January, but I know a lot of people are looking forward to farewelling the year that we're in. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you wanted to see more from me, feel free to go check out one of my other videos. Until next time, bye!